Agri Talk. Of course, you're watching Morning Cafe, and as you can see, just here on the background, you can already tell what we're talking about, but you're talking about goat farming. We are in Kikuyu, and of course, Joy is here to take us through goat farming. How did she get into this venture exactly? Why is it important for her, and how is the market like? That is what we're talking about on today's episode of Agri Talk. Karibu sana. Karibu to Morning Cafe, and thank you so much for welcoming us, of course, to your home. So kindly introduce yourself and talk to us about how you started with goat farming.
Okay, you're much welcome. My name is Joyce Gituto. I'm the owner of this farm. It is called Joyce Goat Dairies. We deal with the dairy goats. And to be specific, we deal with Germany Alpines.
Germany Alpines is the breed that Joy, is it Joy's goat farming?
Yeah, Joyce.
Joyce, because of the name Joy. Interesting. So I understand kuna Sanen, kuna Boa, kuna Toggenburg. You deal with Alpine. So why exactly Alpine? Kwa nini wakuendea maybe Boa or Sanen? Why exactly Alpine?
Number one, Sanen, it is a best producer of milk, but the challenge is its immune is very low. Its immune is very low compared to the others. So, but for the Alpine, it's also a good producer, but its immune is very high. It's a bit high, not very, but a bit high. It adapts very fast. That's why I decided to deal with Alpines, to be specific. We deal with all Alpines, that is British Alpine, Germany Alpine, French Alpine, all those Alpines. Yeah.
Just a reminder, viewer, get a pen and paper, because you know I have mine. We are here to learn more about goat farming, and if this is something you want to venture in, that is why Joy is here for you. Lakini Joy, I'm very much concerned. Now a lot of movement here kwa hizi goats. Are they usually like this?
Yeah, they are like this.
So hii ni way yao ya kucheza ama ni nini exactly?
Okay, you can find when they are moving like this, unaweza pata kuna mbuzi. Maybe it is on heat. That's why you see the male there disturbing.
All right, so it's more of the male bear disturbing the female. So how do you tell exactly who is the male and who is the female among these?
Okay, you can look at the male gender. Most of them has this beard. Let's call it beard.
Okay.
Then you look at the reproduction system of the male. It is not the same as the female.
Okay. Yeah. So you just see, once you see they go to Tajua too?
Yeah.
All right. So which type do you specialize in most? To shaongelea breed umesema Alpine, but now type, do you do dairy, do you do beef, or both?
For me, I deal with the dairy goats only, because that it is a very profitable business. Then that farming is somehow very interesting. Yeah.
So how many goats do you currently have, Joy?
Currently, I have like 80 dairy goats.
8 dairy goats? Hawa hapa peke yake?
Yeah, the mature ones.
The mature ones. But if you're looking at the ones that are here, I think they're past 8. So do you have like the grown ones and the younger ones?
Yeah, I have others. Here I have kept only the small ones. That is from 1 year to 2 years. So we have the older ones.
Okay.
Yeah, on the other side.
All right. So why is it important kuwaeka quite separate? The younger ones huku and then the older ones on the other side?
We separate because we must control the breeding. So if you keep the small ones with the male, you find that it is being served when the time has not. It is still young. And the goat, we serve the goat when it is from 1 year.
To start feeding them?
That's when we start serving them. We give them the meal.
Oh, now the male and not much about the food. It's about them now mating. And
the mating, that. Yeah.
Okay.
But ukiweka na male, kama bado ni wadogo, it will still serve.
Child abuse.
It's very wrong.
Is it the alternative you see when now watoto have sex when they're still young? Is it the same case now with these goats? That's why you separate them to prevent early mating?
Yeah, that's why we separate them. Yeah.
All right. So I want to hear more about the market. How is the market like? Once, of course, umepata what you want, uko na milk, uko na you deal with dairy. How is the market like? Is it favorable enough for you? Is it something that you would really advise someone to do?
Okay, let me say for me, I have a ready market for the milk and also for the goats, because I sell both the milk and the goats. For the milk, we sell it at 200 to 250 Kenya shillings. And now we sell the young ones and the mature ones, depending on the customer, the one he or she is interested in. Yeah.
Joy, you're lucky to have a ready market. Lakini for somebody to watch and he or she is thinking of, wow, this is quite a nice thing. How can they also get to that point where wanasema, hata mimi niko na ready market, hata mimi I will not suffer when I start this business of farming?
Number one, okay, watu wenye wanahitaji hii maziwa ya mbuzi ni wengi. So, unapata kama uko na maziwa mingi, even locally, watu ni wengi. Hawezi, hata hawezi, utawapea maziwa na hata haitatosha.
So would you say it's better than the cow milk?
Yeah, of course.
It has a lot of benefits as compared to the one the cow has?
Yeah, number one, goat milk has a lot of calcium and phosphorus. Also good for skin allergies. Yes.
So if you're talking about, unajua tena watu wanashindwa ku differentiate between goats and sheep. Yeah. So we are talking about now goats having much more benefits, because kumekuwa na concerns pia ati there are some type of goats that if you eat, maybe unakuwa na to pimples, you have some skin problems. Hiyo inaletwa kweli pia na goat, or this is much safer too?
It is much safer. In fact, the goat milk is good for skin care. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. It is also has a lot of calcium. It digests very fast, not compared to the cow milk, because it has low fats.
When you talk about skincare sasa, hebu tuambie now how somebody uses goat milk as a form of skincare. Unachukua, unapaka hivyo ama how exactly is it used? Okay,
there are some people who have products for like soaps. Okay. For goat milk. So, ukitumia hizo sabuni, unapata hata skin yako imeanza kubadilika. It is also good with people with allergies. Yeah.
All right. Now, Joy, apart from maybe goats, do you have any other forms of livestock that you are having here at your farm?
No, I deal with dairy goats only.
So why? Mbona umeona that I only want to deal with goats. I don't want to have cows here. I don't want maybe to, let's say, mahindi, mihogo, beans. Just goat farming is what you want to go for. So why is it better, from my own point of view, of course, from other livestock?
Okay, I decided to deal with dairy goats because it has the riba is very low. Yani, sihitaji wafanyikazi wengi, number one. I feed them once per day. So if I feed them in the morning, we'll meet the following day in the morning. That is number one. Then, zinakula chakula kidogo sana compared to the cow. Because one cow, ile feed unapea ng'ombe moja, inaweza kuliwa na mbuzi 10.
Hawaskinja, okay, if they eat just once a day?
Utapata tu hata majani imebaki tu hapo. So we give them enough.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't really, I know they can't talk to demand for food. Yeah. So you have like a schedule where you come and just feed them. Unajua hii ni saa ya kukula, hii ni saa ya hii na hii.
Okay, we just ensure the troughs has enough food all the time.
Yeah. So it can accommodate all of them.
Yes.
All right. Kuna kwanga na ile kitu ambayo when we were coming here we saw something to do with a stone, and when we were just walking in nikaona kuna mbuzi alikuwa na lamba that stone. What is that?
This one is a kind of, it is a salt, a natural salt from Magadi, although we do mix with the powder ones.
So what is the benefit of that salt?
It has a lot of calcium. Then it makes the goats to produce more if you are milking. It also helps in the skin of the goat. Yeah.
Of the goat.
Yeah.
So huyu goat pia anakwanga na skin diseases now that it helps with the skin. Yeah. How does it look like when they have skin problems?
So the furs, hizi manyoya tusiite manyoya zinang'oka zenyewe. Kama mbuzi itakosa chumvi hata huwezi itamani, inakosa hata nguvu ya kusimama. So that's why we make sure it must have a salt.
You are talking about also breastfeeding. How many times do you do it a day?
Okay. We milk the goat. If it has a kid or it has kids, we milk once per day. But after, normally when the goat give birth, we give it 3 months so that it can be served again. So for those 3 months, we'll be milking once per day. Alafu tunaipea mtoto. After 3 months, then we start milking in the morning and the evening. That is 2 times a day.
Yeah. Now, Joy Tanguanze, what are some of the lessons that you have learned from goat farming that you would share with us?
Okay. For me, I have been having some challenges, such as some of the goat, you find it has miscarriage. The cause of miscarriage is due to ukipata buzi inafaa kukaa kwa keji yake. Kila buzi ikae kwa keji yake. So you find that the goat was in kid. Alafu unaona hawa buzi wangu kuna wenye sija kata pembe. Inaigonga. So it end up with miscarriage. Yes.
Before we get into that point, miscarriage, you've talked about something, pembe. Do you cut pembes for all of them? Why is it important that pembe ikatwe?
Okay, for me, I don't dehorn all. Okay. Nakata pembe wenye wako na vita sana, sio wote. But you can dehorn when they are small. You can decide to dehorn all.
So the purpose of dehorning is just to ensure that they're not hurting other goats?
Yes.
Like this one?
Like this one. But for this, it was born like this.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hii ilizaliwa hivi. Kuna wenye uzaliwa na pembe na wengine wanazaliwa bila pembe. Ni genes zake ziko hivyo.
All right. Now that still on the point of the lessons that you have learned, of course umesema some of the few challenges which of course I also come to it later. Ukituambia zile challenges ambazo somebody who wants to start goat farming anaweza experience, but zile success gani ambazo ume learn, because I'm sure you're not the way you started. Maybe you can start with telling us for how many years have you been in this business? Now that this is a business, unapata profit. How many years, Joy?
Okay. Joy Goats Daily started in 2010. Okay, for me, I like this farming sababu kama ni mbuzi zinazaana haraka sana. From second time, our mbuzi wanazaa mapacha. Okay. So I started with only 20 goats. Wakazaana, but ile kitu muhimu sana ni senge.
What
the
is
back,
that?
The male.
Okay.
So we keep changing the male. Yeah. To ensure the goat is very pure. Alafu umepea ile male inafaa pure breed. Then watoto bado una consider kama ni like currently we are serving them with a pedigree. Alpine. Do at least tunaenda tukiimprove maziwa. Watoto vile mama walitoa maziwa, watoto at least wakuwe na maziwa mingi. Yeah.
Joy, what would you have done different 15 years? Say tuko 15 years. Ukianza, of course, ulianza na 20 goats. From what you know now and venye ulikuwa 15 years ago, that is 2010. Unaona ungefanya nini differently in 2010 as compared to where you are now?
Okay, I can't regret.
You can't regret? Oh, wow.
I'm here to stay with my dairy goats. Sababu profits ni mingi. Kama if you decide to do side ya maziwa, bado uko kwa biashara. Itafanya vizuri, bado italipa. Kama ni breeding, ukiconcentrate on side ya breeding, bado uko sawa. Kama ni watoto utauza vizuri. Yeah. You just ensure your breeds are pure. And they are producing good, a lot of milk.
Amazing. I would say that you're one of the lucky few who you're very, very confident that ulikuwa sawa. And you know, tuna consider pia yule mwenye anataka tu kuanza, and you're hoping that pia yeye atakuja aseme my start was just flawless. Nataka tuingie kwa hiyo point ya the miscarriage that you were saying, but I understand how bado hawaizi za, sio? And you were talking to us about you have older goats. Sasa hopefully when we go on a break, you will be telling us about that when we get there. But of course, talk to us about crossbreeding. Is this something that you are doing, and is it beneficial really in goat farming?
Okay. In dairy goat farming, ile kitu huwa tuna avoid sana ni inbreeding. That is, upate, that way you see my goats ziko na ear tags for recording purposes. Ndio hata nikiuzia customer, aende apate senge, maybe anataka ichukue
girl, female.
Not a female, but to be served. Inataka kupewa dume, inataka kuchukua dume. So anaweza enda maybe kwa neighbor wake, na ni mimi nilimuuzia hiyo mbuzi. Unaona sasa kutakuwa na inbreeding. So that way tunawekanga tags to avoid inbreeding. So akienda kwa neighbor atapata hii mbuzi, hii tag yake, naona tulitoa the female the same price. So hata serve nayo. Cause tena the biggest enemy in this business ni inbreeding. Unapata mama amezaa mtoto, then the male ina serve mama. Yule mtoto wata produce hatatoa maziwa ya kutosha. Hata itatoa kidogo sana.
So in breeding, when you do, it's discouraged in maybe human beings, but it's discouraged in goat farming.
Yeah. Even in the dairy goats too.
Apart from you could produce very, very little milk, what are other challenges or tuseme aje zile mistakes ambazo zitaokaa in breeding ikifanyika?
Number one, ni hiyo maziwa inapungua. Then there is this, it is called hermaphrodite.
Okay. Oh, ile having two
organs.
Okay.
There's two different body organs, reproductive organs. So hiyo bado huwa inaokaa kwa mbuzi sana when you do inbreeding. Tena mbuzi wanakuwa wadogo, ni mbuzi wenye hawatanenepa. Yeah. Itakuwa wadogo, bado health yake ni dogo. And most of the time they end up dying when they are still small. Yeah.
So have you maybe faced at a point where these goats, moja amezaa yule goat ambaye ako disabled?
I had experienced one like 3 years ago. And it was a challenge for me. I was too discouraged. Although I had not done inbreeding, but I had experienced one. It has never occurred again.
How does that disability look like? Anatoka bila macho, bila miguu, ama anatokaje exactly?
Hiyo disability, huanga buzi anakuwa na iji ya uzazi, akona zote mbili. That is ya kike na ya kiume. Yes.
So unaweza sema these disabilities, maybe one of the effects of inbreeding ni hiyo, maybe possibility of a goat anatoka akiwa na disability in breeding?
In breeding sana. That is the main cause.
All right. I want you now to talk to us about how they feel emotionally. You know, I understand that wewe umeshakuwa attached na your goats. Let's say umesema you felt very, very bad when you realized that ulikuwa na one goat that was disabled. So what have you done differently to ensure that you don't have such a case ever again?
Okay. First thing, in breeding niliacha kabisa. I'm very keen on my back, my backs. Alafu na make sure hata yule customer atachukua buzi na wafunza wasiende kufanya vitu kama hizo. So I lower those kind of problems or challenges.
Yeah. So how does it make you feel ukipatia mtu goat aende akafanya inbreeding, or maybe even the goat dies and of course they come back to you now that you're already attached to, they're like your babies, you know, how does that make you feel kama Joy?
I feel very bad. Juu kama at times unaweza pea customer buzi, maybe hiyo buzi anaenda anapea chakula yenye haifai. Although mtu akichukua buzi lazima tumwambie unafaa kufeed hivi na hivi na hivi, but most of them they end up kupea zile vitu hukupea. So unapata maybe buzi imedaidia ameiangalia tu imeenda. So akikupigia simu akwambie kitu kama hiyo, you feel very bad.
Unampea nyingine tena?
Hata huwa anaambia mtu kwanza labda arudi class tena. Ameband.
So ukiwaambia akuje class, is it your class ama now just somewhere else?
My class. Hey.
So do you charge them extra? Do you charge, by the way, for these classes that you telling them itabidi tena umekuja nikufunze?
But kwa customer mwenye ananunua huwa si charge. Huwa si charge. So namfunza tu vile atakaa na buzi, akiona hivi, anafanya hivi.
But you do training for aspiring goat farmers in future. Ule amekuja hapa Joyce Goat Farm na nataka sana ku venture into this type of business. Do you now take them through, and how much do you charge?
Okay. I have been having so many requests for dairy goats training. We only charge 3,000 Kenya shillings. It goes for only 4 hours. So hautakaa sana. But ukitoka utakuwa mwalimu.
So your process you're teaching, what does it entail exactly? Unawafunza fanya hivi na hivi nini exactly?
Number 1, goats maintenance. Vile the housing. Tunafanya the housing. We also do the diseases. And now the feeding. All
right, Joy, you mentioned something about that miscarriage, and I understand that you have one who just miscarried recently, but you want to take a very short break, and maybe when we come back, we want to request to maybe tupeleke tuone the older goats, tuone wanakaaje, if they are much jovial kama hawa wadogo, tuone if wako na pembe, they're not causing chaos there. So of course we're talking about goat farming. Like I'd mentioned, we are in Kikuyu and we are with Joyce Goat Farm. Yes? Joyce
Goats Dairies.
Joyce Goat Dairies. Unajua nimeona ni kama hapo ni tongue twister. Na mimi natoka wapi? Kisumu. All right, you're taking a very short break at this point. You're coming back. You're watching AgriTalk.
Radio 47 inavuma ndani na nje ya nchi. Tumekubalika hadi kimataifa kwa ushirikiano na Deutsche Welle nchini Ujerumani. Tunakupa matangazo ya aina yake, kuanzia habari, makala na matangazo ya soka. Radio 47 na Deutsche Welle, idhaa ya Kiswahili nchini Ujerumani. Hili ni bonge la ushirikiano. Radio 47, tunavuma na bado hapa ndipo.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Foreke tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Foreke is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Ani wewe furahia umekaa na kasukuma. CP unit ni Punet.
Ni Punet.
Punet.
So you guys knew about...
Piga.
Sawa basi. Sema, hata ungevi the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You'll have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe, and this is Agri Talk. We're talking about goat farming, and we are with Joyce Dairy Farm. Before we went on that very short break, we were talking about how one of Joyce's goats, miscarry. And of course, Joy, we would love to know, how did you discover that huyu amepata miscarriage? What were the signs that you saw?
Okay. Kwa buzi, they are like human beings, so they go the same labor pain.
Okay.
So unapata buzi inalia, hata yenyewe huwa inalia. So ina keep on sleeping, studying, then haiwezi tulia. It is the, yani haiko in peace. So after kukaka nikaona hii buzi iko na shida. So after sometimes it miscarriage. So immediately after miscarriage, I called the vet. Ikatolewa hiyo tunaita aje? Hiyo
Kwa mtu ni fetus.
Not the fetus exactly.
But sasa ya mbuzi.
Okay. Alafu kuna injection huwa inapewa ya kuosha the womb. Ndio next time i-conceive. Juu ukikataa kufanya hivyo, then next it will have some infection, and the next time it will end up miscarriaging. So to avoid all that, unafaa uite vet, aiweke dawa, ioshe hiyo ube yake, then you inject a multivitamin. It is an ni ya kutoa stress kwa buzi. Alafu ukitoa after that unaipea 3 months. After 3 months it is ready to conceive again. Usipee immediately.
So you lazima we separate kabisa from the male goats.
Ikae tu kando, then we feed vizuri, then we pay ukidunga tu multivitamin ni anti-stress. Ita recover yenyewe pole pole. After 3 months itakuwa ready, itakuwa on heat tu yenyewe.
Nasikia mwingine ana sneeze. Is it one of the diseases that they have ama ni nini exactly?
Okay, the most common diseases in these dairy goats, number 1 is diarrhea. Number 2, pneumonia and bloat. Bloat ndio huwa inaua hawa buzi haraka sana. Diarrhea, just make sure you give them dry matter. Not exactly dry ile imekauka kabisa, but you will to your feeds. At least hiyo majani ukaushe kidogo. Si majani ya kesho ukate leo. You give it tomorrow to avoid diarrhea. Juu diarrhea nayo within 2 days utapata hiyo buzi hata isimami kabisa. Then for kwa homa inakojeka tu homa kama kama tu binadamu. So for pneumonia, just make sure nyumba yako mahali buzi wanaishi hakuna upepo inaingia. So when you are building your house, make sure umeangalia wakati side yenye upepo inatoka. Yes. Ndio isiface hiyo side. It is face the opposite side. Yeah. To avoid all those.
tutaingilia deeper into housing structures za goats, lakini you mentioned something about stress ya huyo goat mwenye miscarry, and my question is, do they also feel it emotionally the way we human beings do, and wana react aje to, how is the healing process like?
Okay, they are like human being, as I told you, because unapata hata yeye analia akitafuta mtoto, because ameandango ile labor pains, so inagoja, hata yenyewe inagoja mtoto, but most of the time if it is a miscarriage, unapata hata kama ni mtoto mkubwa ametoka kama amekufa. Yeah.
All right, sasa healing process umesema ina take is it
Months.
3 months?
3 months.
They're
Yeah.
totally ready to conceive and to go about their life.
Yeah, after 3 months it will be on heat again. Usipe ati ikiwa na miezi 2. Wacha ipone kwanza. Hata ile womb ikuwe ready. Yeah.
Sasa there's something that we also a lot of people don't know. Mbuzi anafaa nyonye for how long? You know, hata watoto maybe hakuna standard. There are people who want to do it for even 5 years. Lakini standard ya mbuzi ni gani?
Okay, kwa mbuzi anafaa anyonye, no, sio hata kunyonya vizuri for 3 good months. After 3 good months ni mbuzi inajua, it know how to feed very well. Inajua maji, inajua chumvi, inajua unga. Yeah. After 3 months unaweza separate kwa mama completely. Yeah.
Joy, when is the best season for a goat farmer? Yani ile saa una feel yenyewe hapa niko na good profits na nita make very very good money at this point. When is the best season for you?
Okay, for the dairy goats, we don't have seasons. They are not seasonal. Okay. Because each goat gets on heat at its own time. So when you are milking, it will give birth and you start milking at a different time compared to the other goats. So it give then giving birth, it gives birth at its own time. So hawezi pata ati buzi wote wamezaa hii mwezi.
Actually that is quite interesting, Joy. Because sasa tukiongelelea plans, maybe harvesting season inakuanga just standard, but this is now better, right? Every time una harvest, umesema kila goat ana mate at its own time. Yeah. Is the produce the same? Tuseme kama standard yako inakuanga maybe let's say 10,000. Is it 10,000 every day or every sale? Is it standard?
Okay, not really. Because unaweza pata kuna wakati kama ni maziwa wameproduce mingi leo, kesho imereduce kidogo, so it is not a standard. Yeah.
All right. Just to remind you, I hope you have your pen. I hope you have your paper. We are learning. I hope you're learning. And if you're finding this interesting, just let us know in the comment section. If, of course, you've reached this far with us, we're talking about goat farming. Joy, tell us about the gestation period. Yeah, goat.
Okay, for gestation period, for a goat, we give it 150 days. That is 5 months. Yeah. This goes, saa hiyo ako ni ile time amebeba mimba. Yeah.
5 months.
150 days, yeah.
All right. So for how many times should a goat farmer maybe vaccinate the goats or take them to the vets? After how long?
For vaccination, we can vaccinate after once for kwa kila ugonjwa maybe. Then for the deworming, you do it after every 3 months. Then kuna wale farmers wamezoea ati kuna ile dawa specific I give for la dewormer. So you should change them. If you give it a oral dewormer, next time ipe hata kama ni injection.
Lakini sasa, when is the time that now a vet should be consulted? Umesema sometimes tumeongelea bloating, tumeongelea pneumonia, homa. Tumesikia mwingine hapa ako na homa, yeah? So ni point gani ile unafaa uite vet useme now this is getting serious and I need medical attention for my goats?
Number one, if a goat has a miscarriage, call for a vet. Kama ni mgonjwa, call for a vet. In case of deworming, you also require a vet. Na vitamin too. Vitamin we give it every month. Yeah.
Maybe have you faced any form of disease outbreak hapa kwa farm yako? Just any outbreak ya goat ambayo ilikuja na maybe ikakurudisha nyuma, or just anything that you prevented before it took over?
Okay. I once had a disease called pink eye.
Okay.
Huwa inafanya mbuzi ikue bright. So the eye starts turning pinkish. Then inaenda ina turn whitish. Kama hauta iattend haraka. So nilikuwa na mbuzi moja ilikuwa hivyo. Then hiyo disease huwa ina bebo na hawa inzi. Flies. So iattend very fast. So haikuenda kwa mbuzi wengine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you prevent zile external parasites, zile fleas, ticks from these goats?
Okay, tuna spray na dawa. The insecticide. We use the insecticide.
Okay, how about hygiene? Inafaa ikayaje? Ndio ujue hapa sasa my goats are safe and they are free from any external parasites.
Number one, lazima mbuzi yako isikae chini. Unaona wangu nimelace kidogo juu ya ammonia na bado kuavoid hao fleas. Juu tena mbuzi inafaa kukaa mahali dry. Kama unaona nyumba yake vile inakaa juu, unafaa utadike hizo bao, ukiacha tushimo kidogo kidogo to avoid ile uchafu kusimama hapo. So the house should be completely dry to avoid other diseases like mastitis, of course. Yeah. Wanapata mastitis tu kama ng'ombe. So lazima uensure shade yako iko dry and clean.
Okay. But Joy, tunaona some manure. So where do you take them now that you're only doing goat farming? Hauna mahindi, hauna beans, hauna ngwashe. So where does this manure go to?
Okay, hii manure, it has a lot of customers. Number one. Then huwa tunaitumia kwa kupea vitu kama napier grass. We have a few. Alafu kuna ile hizo feeds bado huwa tunapea kama za protein, bado tumepanda huko kwa shamba. So huwa tunatumia hiyo manure hapo, although iko na demand iko juu sana. Customers wengi wanaitaka.
Maybe what are the benefits of this goat manure now that you're saying watu wengi wanaipenda sana? Ni benefits gani iko nazo kushinda ile ya ng'ombe?
Okay, number one, hii huwa inafanya kazi haraka, sio kama ya ng'ombe. Unaona hii sio ngumu. Yeah. So hata growth ya ukipanda kama ni mahindi upande nayo itakuwa haraka, sio kama vile itafanya kazi haraka yani. So utapata ile mmea ilipandwa na ile cow dung and compared to the goat manure, it's very different. This one is growing very fast. Yeah.
Joy, tukiwa pale with the small goats, you are telling us that you feed them only once a day. But I'm concerned about hawa ni wakubwa. Do you also feed them once a day ama hawa sasa feeding rate yao iko juu kushinda wale wadogo?
Okay. Feeding rate yao iko the same, but we ensure hawa tunawekea at least majani mingi kuliko wale. Yeah.
Majani is the most important. Is it the salt? Au pia wako na salt?
The feeds. Lazima wakae, mbuzi lazima, kama ni mdogo ama ni mkubwa, lazima akuwe na salt, enough salt, na maji and water.
All right. I'm also concerned about this structure. You know, what is the best structure for these goats? Hapa tunaona kila mtu wako na cube yake, but on the other end, wako tu hapo. Everybody, it's just an open space. So what is the structure like? Hapa, why do you have cubes for these older ones?
Okay. Hawa, okay, normally, mbuzi anafaa kukaa kwa cube yake. That is, juu unaona kila buzi, most of the goats has horns. And maybe you will not dehorn all because of fighting, so you should keep them in a cage. Mine, the ones I have not separated, is because I want them to, I want them to mate.
Okay.
Yeah, they are ready to be served. So, nawaweka na dume. That's why I have not kept them. But after they will be served, I will separate them and put them in a tube.
Now, Joy, how do you ensure proper ventilation for your goats? Now, when we're talking about structure for these goats, how do you ensure proper ventilation for them?
Number one, hata kama nimesema usiweke buzi wako mahali kuna upepo sana. Number one, you have to make sure when you are doing your housing, unaacha space either huko juu. Alafu huku chini, cause of pneumonia, ammonia, you avoid kujengea chini sana. Less kidogo, then nyumba yako, at least hata ukiingia hapo, unasikia unaweza kaa. Sio nyumba yenye unaingia una suffocate.
Now, Joy, do you practice zero grazing or just free range? I'm a both.
Okay, for me, these goats are their immune is very low. So we prefer zero grazing. I do complete zero grazing to avoid a lot of diseases, a lot of vaccinations. Yeah.
So what are the benefits of zero grazing as compared to hiyo nyingine ya free range?
Number one, mbuzi wako hawatakuwa wagonjwa mara mingi. Hizo magonjwa za kuokota they will not have. Number two, the fleas. They will not have fleas. Very rare. Yeah. So
fleas and external parasites, they're very, very safe from them if you go the way of zero grazing. Yeah. Na, isn't that free range kwa wale wadogo? Ama now that wanajuana and they are enclosed, that is not something to worry about.
Okay, for free range, huwa hatuwatoi, hawezi toka nje. Tunafanyanga, wanakaa kwa nyumba, so hawatoki nje ama kwenda marishoni. No, we do zero grazing. Wanakaa yani kwa nyumba. Wanapewa chakula hapo. Hakuna kutoka. Yeah.
All right, so what is the most cost-effective way, Joy, of feeding these goats, lakini pia una ensure high productivity? Understand pale umesema you're feeding them just once a day, but what is the most cost-effective way of feeding them? And una ensure ati wako sawa, they are not hungry, wako na nutrients vile wanafaa. Talk to us about that.
Okay, number one, you must ensure that ile buzi, kila buzi ujue anafaa kukula chakula kiasi gani. If it is 3 kgs, si uko na mbuzi hapa, una make sure umemwekea chakula ya kutosha. Then watu wasiwe pressure sana juu ya feeding ati do you produce more. Just make sure ile kitu uko nayo kwa shamba ndio unatumia and you make sure it is fed with a balanced diet. That is the feed must have protein, enough protein, carbohydrates for energy, alafu na minerals kidogo. Yeah.
What are some of the nutritional deficiencies in goats? Sasa, now that we're in gwiji wa goat farming, is there nutritional deficiencies that you've seen goats have, and also how do you address them?
Okay. Ukikosa feed buzi wako na balanced diet, they weaken, their body weakens. Unapata hata watoto, hata hiyo buzi haiwezi kuwa hata on heat, by the way. When it is poorly fed, it starts shedding the fat. Yeah. So those are the most of the challenges za kufeed, kama ufeed buzi wako vizuri.
Inakuwa na nutritional deficiencies.
If it is in kid, itapata tu mtoto mwenye sio hayuko sawa. So they end up dying.
How does a balanced diet look like for goats?
Like me, if I feed them napier grass, I must bring something like hay and rosan. And on top of that, they must have salt every day and unga kidogo. Yeah.
unga is like a snack for them ama ni something necessary?
It's very necessary. Juu inasaidia kwanza mbuzi wenye unakamua wanaongezea maziwa. Lazima upee unga. Yeah.
I want us to talk about now the breeding practices. How do you ensure that good breeding practices for your goats that are here, Joy?
Number one, for my bucks, that the males, when you wanna serve, I make sure they are for AI to avoid inbreeding. Yeah.
So what is the best age for a goat to start inbreeding? Wale wadogo umesema you have 1-year-olds, but what is the best age now that you recommend for now breeding, for them to start mating now? Okay.
Number one, as we give them from 1 year, hatupei buzi yako chini ya 1 year dume. So we give them from 1 year, that when it is ready to be served.
Do you manage mating in any way? Because when you tumeingia pale nilikuwa naona and you told us that they're on heat. So do you manage that in any way ndio wasiumizane? Now that we see you haven't dehorned most. So how do you manage that?
Okay. Vile huwa tunafanya, if the goats become, mostly the males, they become violent when it is once goat is on heat. So tukipata buzi inataka dume, tunaileta kwa hii cube. But inasaviwa, then tunairudisha or we separate. Juu sasa tumejua iko na mimba, at least isigongwe na hizo zingine. Yeah.
So you bring them here once they are pregnant, you separate them from the other ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing that maybe we would love to know is how do you now identify that a goat is on heat? Aside from them being violent and kurukaruka juu, how do you identify that huyu anataka mtu?
Okay. Number one, unapatanga kama hutaweka buzi na dume, most of them haitakuwa na ile haitakuwa na hiyo mood ya kukua na on heat. So hiyo dume kuna ile harufu huwa inatoa ndio the females can be on heat. So number one, if you see your goat have some discharge at the back, then swinging of the tails, then there are some who, what can I say? Not mowing, but crying, but all mowing. That goat is completely on heat.
Okay.
They also mount on others.
So once the kids are born, how do you ensure that now they are healthy? You know, kama maybe mayai unaona wanatolewa wanawekwa kwingine. How do you ensure that huyu mbuzi mdogo amezaliwa? You ensure that they're healthy, that they're in, just to protect them. How do you do that?
Okay, number one, her mother should be in her own cage. Then lazima make sure huyo mama ana feed vizuri. Then unaangalia buzi tu. Hata ukiona choo yake, utajua tu huyu buzi anashiba. Yeah.
Joy, where do you sell your goat products? Umesema wewe unakuanga na ready market. Do you sell it to let's say locals ama supermarkets ama where exactly do you?
Mine, I do it locally. Yeah.
Is the reception nice, or would you maybe aspire to expand it to supermarkets or these bigger corporations maybe sometime?
Okay. For me, even I don't have enough milk. So you have more customers than the product you have. So kwanza nataka kusatisfy wenye wako kwa rokari, the people allowed me, then I can move into the other areas. Yeah.
Tukianza pia you were talking to us about some of the challenges na tukasema we'll be getting deeper into it tukimaliza show. Ukasema one of them is maybe miscarriage. So what are some of the challenges that a goat farmer mna face kwa market? Wewe najua uko lucky and you said you're lucky, but for somebody who is starting, what are some of the challenges that anafaa kuwe ready for before I venture into this type of farming?
Okay. Kwa buzi, kwa dairy goods, naambianga mtu sio kama farming zile zingine. So if you are starting, usianze na buzi wengi at once, and maybe you have not even gone for the training. So naambianga mtu anza tu na buzi kidogo, then unasoma we mwenyewe. Unaona? So because you face some challenges. Maybe unapata mbuzi amegojeka, hujaelewa. Because these goats need close attention. Lazima hata kama uko busy aje, unazunguka at least once per day kuangalia mbuzi mwenye ako na challenges. Their body are very weak. So ukiachilia itakufa haraka. Yeah.
So Joy, advice ile sasa utapatia farmer who is starting. Maybe somebody gave you advice when you're starting, or maybe not. But now that you are somebody, an expert in this, what advice would you give them if they want to start this business?
Okay, number one, naweza waambia sio biashara mbaya. If you do breeding, you still be on the safer side. Bado utapata pesa yako. If you concentrate on milk, bado utakuwa kwa biashara. So naweza ambia watu wasiogope, wacha tulime mbuzi. So the feeding of the goat is very low. We have said 1 cow is equivalent to 10 goats. So wacha tulime.
Startup capital inaweza kwa how much hivi? Umemwambia asianze na mbuzi wengi, anze tu na kidogo. Sasa startup capital for instance inaweza kwa ngapi hivi, Joy?
Okay, you can start with as low as 100K. Yeah.
Just that? Yeah. Now where can we find Joy when we want to maybe get goat products, dairy, maziwa, meat, tutapata aje?
Okay. We Joy Goat Dailies. We are located at Kikuyu, Deya, a place called Kamango. Or you can find us in Facebook. We are Joyce Goat Dailies. Ama kwa TikTok. We are also in TikTok. We are Joyce Goat Dailies. Maybe I can give my number. Yes, please. 0725 066 561. You are much welcome.
All right, that brings us to the end of this episode on Agri Talk. We were talking about goat farming, and as you've heard, that is Joy Goats Dairies. We are in Kikuyu once again. If we've been able to convince you that goat farming is something that is viable and something that can help you, of course, as you start your goat farming, then comment down below and tell us your views on this particular episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.